Okay, Zala, are you in? Can you hear me?
I mean, yeah.
Okay, cool. Um, so we're doing an assignment where we're required to interview a sportsman within their own right in the country. So obviously, seeing that you're my brother, I used it as an opportunity to make it easier for myself and the group members. So we've got a couple of questions that we want to ask you, and yeah, you can try your best to answer. They're pretty straightforward. You can give us, if you can, give us as much information as possible so we can just be able to reflect as a group after this and basically put it all together.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'll start. Um, okay, personal background and career. Can you tell us a bit about your early life and how you got into football? From what from what are you big, what? From what are you began football till now, including role models, journey throughout your career, and your biggest inspiration?
Um, Background.
Yeah, just tell us a bit
Um,
about your early life in
I
football
started. I
and who
started.
your role models were.
I started very early. Very very early. I think age 5, 6. I was already running in the street, playing soccer. I think by then already I knew that I wanted to be a footballer. I think it was also just after we had won the Cup of Nations with Bafana Bafana, so
What year was that?
90,
8,
90
9, no,
no,
99, 90,
90,
98,
96.
7. Okay.
The Springboks won 95, I think, and then Bafana
Yeah.
90s. So, yeah, I think I've never looked back since then because those guys were my idols, Abo Dr. Kumalo, Mark Williams, Tovi,
Yeah.
that's Khatebe, and these are people that I interact with today on a daily, and I never thought that I'd be speaking to such people, and maybe one day I'd be calling them, my close friends, or even though they're older, and wiser. But I drew so much inspiration from that, and I think that's when I really knew what I wanted to do and where I wanted to go. I hope that
Okay.
that is clear enough.
Yeah. No. That. Yeah. No. Thanks. Let me go on. Who are your favorite soccer players or teams to watch? These are pretty straightforward.
Yeah, soccer players at this day and age, I
Currently,
can't
yeah.
I can't really pick one or two, or be
But who in
very.
particular, like, do you
I think
like enjoy watching?
I watched a lot of Tony Cruz, for
Yeah.
example, Zinedine Zidane, Wayne Rooney, Ronaldinho. I think when they were like in their prime, there was a guy from Argentina called Roman Riquelme. These are people that I always used to watch. Abotabo Moki as well,
Yeah.
very closely, which somehow my game model resembled, or I tried to resemble, most times. So, Man United, because I supported them, so I watched a lot of their games. I watched a lot of Barcelona. Um, Real Madrid, not Chelsea. Um, Kaizer Chiefs. I'm a big Kaizer Chiefs supporter. So I grew, I fell in love with their identity back then when they played. Um, so yeah,
Yeah, and so how did it feel like playing for a team that you grew up supporting? Like, how did it feel representing them and being their captain and winning league titles with them and trophies?
it felt good. It felt great. Um, I can't describe the feeling because it was a box that I had to tick. You know, it
Yeah,
was a goal that I had set for myself, and I managed to reach that mark. So it really felt great. It was an amazing feeling. I can't really explain it, but
surreal.
playing for a team that you love and you represent, it just makes it so much easier when you're on the field. Because you know exactly what it is that you represent and what you play for. So
Yeah,
I was in the front line at some point, and I had to showcase it. And I don't think it was too much of an adjustment because of my mental state.
yeah,
Obviously, you need to be very strong. So, and at that point, I was at my peak. So it wasn't very very difficult. Obviously, I didn't do it alone. My peers were there, colleagues, and we managed to conquer at the time.
yeah. Okay. What was your first break in professional football?
My first break,
Yeah.
meaning specify, my man, please. What do
Okay.
you mean?
As in like where at what point was it? Like how old were you? Which team was it where you got your first break into the PSL?
Well, funny enough, I was actually speaking about this earlier. I was being I was 16 years old. Um, grade 11, and at that time I was at tax. We were eating, and they just made an announcement. I think on the news that I had made the under 23 squad to represent South Africa. At that time, it was called Amatluk. I think that's still the name. But
Yeah.
that was the first time I thought I got my big break because then I was I was international. Rubbing shoulders with international players at that age, and I was in the development, as a tax, and here I am
Yeah.
getting an team call up. Not even under 17 or under 20, but straight through to under 23. So I
Yeah.
think that was the big moment for me because from then on, I think everyone else was
Your
able to
career.
see my
Yeah.
capability, and then yeah, my career just blossomed from there.
Okay. All right. Okay. Moving on
Would you
to
say
achievements and goals. What do you
Give
consider to?
us a chance, sir, please. Someone wanted to say something. Yes,
Okay.
please,
it's me?
please.
So sorry. I want to ask, would you say that was one of your biggest achievements in life during that time of your phase?
I think my biggest achievement would be representing my country, at the highest level, which was Ibafana Bafana.
Hmm.
Um, Playing against one of the best in the world, I'm on the same field with Marcelo, David Luiz, Neymar, Oscar, Hulk. These are people that I would play slightly PlayStation, and here I am running next to this guy. So I think when that happened, I then knew that this was something big.
Okay, anyone else have questions?
Yes, I have a question. What's your name?
My name is Akani.
Come on, dude.
I'm joking. My name is Nyiko. I'm Nyiko Maluleka. I'm this guy's uncle. Nyiko George Maluleka.
Okay, nice to meet you, Nico. I'm Ofense.
Hi, Fence. Nice to meet you too. Do you have a question?
I'm sure Osi has a
Yes,
question.
yes. Before we started this interview, we started recording it. I don't know if you mind if we record it.
You've recording. You're recording now, aren't you? I
Yes.
don't, okay. Yeah, that's fine. You've
Okay.
already, yeah, you're recording, so it's okay.
Okay, can I proceed to questions?
You may.
Okay,
I have a question. I have a
all right.
question. Yeah. Um. My question is, how do you stay motivated during tough times or when facing setbacks? I think this would be more like when, like, yeah, in your footballing career, how did you face, setbacks and tough times?
Um, it was very difficult, and I've had lots of setbacks. But I think a lot of motivational videos helped me a lot. Seeing a lot of other people going through injuries, setbacks, and bouncing back, that also got me going. So I think having faith and being positive, obviously seeing other people do it, it became very easy for me to say, if others can, then it's surely possible for me to. Um, by then I knew, Jorge, I was made for this because a lot of things happened. So many. I can't wait to write this book because the minute, and I've seen a lot of people also, for example, that were down and out and who needed that extra push to come back, and you find Uti, they end up giving up, which is sad, and then life changes, after that. So these are things that I saw right in front of me, Mankula, people that I grew up with right next to me, after having everything and taking things for granted, those sort of things kept me going. So I hope that's clear for you or answers your question. Thanks,
Uh,
OC.
It does. It does. Thank you. Thank you. And I have one more question. Throughout your career, who who would you say is a coach that you enjoyed playing under, or yeah, just enjoyed playing under and learned the most from?
Yeah, sorry about that. That's my son. Um, can you repeat that again? Sorry.
No problem. No problem. Throughout your career, who is a coach that you who
Mm.
is a coach that you enjoyed playing under the most and learned from the most, or just had an overall good experience under? I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To be honest, there's I can't pinpoint anyone. Because I learned so much, and I took so much from each and every coach, and I think that has helped me to be the player that I am today. Um, I can't really single out anyone, but if if I had to, I can't. I can't, and I'm not. So they all played a part. I enjoyed myself so much, throughout, which is why it was so much easier for me to be able to work with a lot of other coaches, because they all have their differences and dynamics in how they do things. So I
Okay,
was able to
that makes
work.
Okay, but surely you had like one in particular that you really, really like
To be
enjoyed
honest,
playing.
because I can even tell you, like the different coaches, all of them, Kevin Hunt, Steve Barker. These are people that pushed me. Abo Sly, Sammy Troughton. These are guys that pushed me from the get go. So if it wasn't for them, then I wouldn't have gone to the next level. And then you get to international coaches where you start working with Abo Foppe de Haan from Holland. This guy has worked with Abo van Persie and all these people, and then he's coaching you. And he tells you, do 1, 2, 3, and you do it. You then go on to the next step. Now you're part of Bafana Bafana, a different level. You find Abo Pizzo Musimane, Abo Pereira, the Brazilian, Santana. Like it's crazy. That's why I'm saying I can't really pick one and say, yeah, this one, because they all played a part in my career, and I made sure that I grab that, into to my advantage, and I really did, which is how everything turned out. I was able to play longer.
I have a question.
Shoot, of
I wanted to ask, how do you balance like your career life with your personal life at the same time? Like,
it's it's very difficult. I won't lie. A lot of people think it's all fun. Um, you're famous and people know you, and it's a lot of work, because you deal with a lot of personalities. You meet a lot of people. Some are angry at you, some give you attitude, some hate you because you beat their team, and you just always need to keep a smile on your face. Some say offensive things, but at the end of the day, you need to also remind people that you are also human, So obviously, there are ways in going about it, but what helps me deal with that is psychologists. We grew up with sports psychologists, and they made us aware, that when you start being in the limelight or people start recognizing you or seeing you, everything changes. So therefore, there are certain things that you cannot and can do in public, because then everyone is watching you. So those kind of things just also for timing. I don't know if I'm making sense. And then it's up to you as how you take it, whether you learn from it or you don't. But that really is the difference, and the discipline side of it. As much as this is our personal life and obviously the professional one, but I think it's how you deal with certain situations. I hope I'm making sense.
yeah, you are. In terms of like your family, when you obviously you travel, when you go play in different provinces and stuff. So like, how does your family get affected, or don't they get affected at all?
So they do big time. Uh, Family plays a fundamental role, in your success and in your happiness, obviously. So I'm someone who's very, very family orientated. Love having my kids around, my wife. I That's the only thing I know. If I'm not at training, if I'm not with friends, then I'm with family or at home. So that's the foundation that I know, and it becomes very difficult once you start drifting things and start moving and you're not with them. And so if that's just how I was built, and if it's something you're not used to, then you have to adjust in some ways. Thank you.
I have a question.
Shoot.
First of all, it's an honor speaking to you, sir.
Thank you, Sam. Appreciate it.
So I just wanted to know, how do you prepare mentally for a big game?
Firstly, I think it starts at training. How you train eventually sets you up for the match. So preparation always starts in training. I'll then know before the match if I'm ready or not, because then if I had a terrible week, then I know I'm in for hell. At at the stadium or fully packed F&B, and nobody wants that because bazokuthuka la ngaphandle abantu.
Okay.
So I just need to make sure I bring my A game. I'm always at my best, and yeah, just give my all in everything that I do. So it's not very easy, but you always need to make sure that you come out tops in every single thing that you do. Which is why all these people are so competitive. Could be the smallest of things, and I'll take Michael Jordan for example. That guy used to gamble.
Yeah.
And even small games, he will make like small bets, and he would hate losing. So I think just having a look at yourself in that mirror as well, helps you uh, prepare yourself, because then you are honest. You are honest to yourself.
Yeah. That makes sense.
I think Tando has a question. I think this should be the last one before we close it up.
Regarding your balance with your training and recovery, can you just take us through like what your typical day looks like?
Typical day, I'll give you my typical recovery day. I would then, so say it's a Wednesday, it's a loading day. We ran for about an hour and a half straight, late, hot. We would then we have the ice baths for us immediately after training for a 10-minute set. Cold ice bath. 10 minutes straight in the ice. Out. You then have of getting a massage immediately or later on, which I prefer taking later on, because then after the ice bath I shower and go eat. I would then go home, have a rest, watch TV, elevate my legs. Late afternoon, I would then have my massage. We call it it's like a point system where there's ice bath, there's massage, there's stretching, where there's point system where you must reach like a certain number of points until you have recovered.